Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is Ryan here to talk about my player updates for week 2 of the college football season. So let's get right into it. So Isaiah Nwokobia is a guy that I'm going to talk about, safety out of SMU. Um, he played an absurd 100 snaps in this game, which is just crazy. I definitely think he improved as a whole compared to week 1. He had 11 tackles, 4 assists, and was definitely much better in coverage. I still have been kind of let down by his play so far this season compared to last year, but this was an improvement from week 1. Then we're going to get right into Cade Klubnik. Uh, Cade. Another week where he started out very poorly, had me worried. I was like, this is gonna be bad. But then he ended up kicking it into gear, ended up with a solid game with some pretty solid big time throws. I honestly am having a hard time seeing him making it back into the QB1 conversation. But who knows? It's possible, but he could not have had a worse start to the season this year, getting outplayed by Nussmeier and then not looking that great in week 2. But he was able to bounce back. D'Angelo Pons didn't really show up too much in week 2. I didn't see a ton from him. He was solid in coverage. He did have a missed tackle. Um, but it is possible teams are just not targeting him too much. Um, what weeks for LSU? It This game he felt like he disappeared. He wasn't around the play a ton. He did have a nice pressure. He didn't actually have a ton of snaps, so I don't really know what was going on with that. Whether maybe he was dealing with something. But this felt like a game where I was watching the LSU game and I'm like, where's Whit Weeks? I kept seeing his brother a ton, but not really much him. Dante Corleone, the Godfather, he started the game absolutely dominating against the run. O line couldn't handle him. He was plugging gaps, but then he left after only 10 snaps for a medical precaution. I didn't really get much info, didn't see anything about exactly what that was, but they said it was just precautionary. Um, then my Minnesota running back, Darius Taylor. He had a really good series, but then he didn't play the rest of the game because the team didn't really need help. So they ended up spreading the ball out to like tons of players. So this is a really kind of like a wash game for him. So not really much to add there. Now, finally, a little bit of hope here. Joe Royer, Cincinnati tight end, was a bounce back week. He only had 2 targets, but he did catch both of them, and he had 104 yards on those 2 receptions. I believe one of them was like 73 yards itself. Um, he also had a better day as a blocker. So that was nice to see after that really disappointing week 1. Eric McAllister, there was no game this week for him. Taryn Tayo, the interior O lineman here for Cincinnati. This is another week where he needs to show more strength in the run game. He was really, really strong in the pass game, though. No pressures on 27 pass blocking snaps. So if he can just show me a little bit more from that strength in the run game, I think he's going to continue to improve. Now, the most confusing one to me, I am fairly certain that it was PFF that made a mistake. But I had said in week 1 that Brian Parker II had moved to left guard, which was confusing to me because the guy that was in the right tackle spot was wearing the number that he had last year. Well, it turns out that's because he was playing right tackle. So yeah, a little confusing. And so disregard what I said week 1 about him. Um, but yeah, he played a much better defense and wasn't as good this week. Um, he allowed 3 pressures on 48 pass blocking snaps, which is still pretty solid. And I'm a little disappointed with the fact that he is at right tackle because I wanted to see him as a guard because I think that's where his home is going to be in the NFL. So yeah, I'm gonna have to spend some more time looking at Brian Parker II now next week because I definitely made a mistake with week 1. So then we get into Mark Gronowski. Oh boy. Um, Again, he started to get a better feel for things, I felt. Um, but he struggled in the pressure, which was coming pretty often. Um, he did have a fumble. Still hasn't made a big time throw yet in 2 games. Um, and the disappointing thing is that fans are now turning on him and like burning his jersey. But unfortunately, what the fans should be doing is turning on the OC. Um, I I don't understand this offense and what their plan is. You bring in a guy that was a prolific passer, and you're not putting him in a position to succeed. So I really like Mark Gronowski. I think that he is who I thought he was, but I don't know that I was gonna let me prove that to be true. So really disappointing. Um, David Bailey, Texas Tech edge, back at it again. Only had 19 snaps. I want to see this guy on the field more, but Texas Tech has a lot of good players, so they're not really getting that much um, time on the field. He only had 19 snaps, but in those 19 snaps, he had 4 pressures and a sack, consistently winning in the pass rush. So that was huge. I think he's going to be a league favorite and a fan favorite come April when we're talking about him as a potential first rounder, day 2 guy, something like that. And then my guy John Michael Gillenborg, the tight end out of Wyoming, I put that's more like it. In week 1, man, he was rough. Only 3 catches on 7 targets, with a drop. It was really, really rough. Um, but in week 2, he showed me a little bit more as a blocker, willing, not necessarily a great blocker, but willing. And then he also caught 5 of his 6 targets for 59 yards and a touchdown. Looked a lot more like how he did towards the end of last season. So that was exciting. And I'm not sure if you noticed, but I skipped a player that I normally start with. And the reason for that is because I needed to talk as much time as I wanted to about Cleve Lovin. Um, Cleve Lovin is proving to be a first round talent. Um, I don't think there's many people saying that right now, but he absolutely is a first round talent. Whether or not he's going to go first round is pointless. But man, this guy is unstoppable, and he's done it at every level. He moves up to better competition, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the competition because he's going to kill them. Um, he played double the snaps and was still absolutely dominant. He had 2 sacks again, 6 pressures, 7 tackles. He had this awesome strip sack. I put up a little short on our channel about it. The guy is just like relentless in the pass rush, and he's not super small, but he's got the bend, and he still has some bend to him. But his speed and power rush is just so good, and if he's able to stay on the field with double the snaps that he got this week, between him and Jordan Gerard, I think they're D tackle. I think that's how you say his name. They are so much fun to watch. Louisville's defensive line is great. So far, Cleve Lovin has a 92.5 pass rush grade, and he has been performing pretty well against the run too. Um, so it's just really exciting to me to see what Cleve Lovin is going to get to. He's a guy that I'm going to be reaching out to try and see if I can get him to do an interview with me, because I just want to get to know more about who he is and his path to where he is, because I think his path is very unique. And his path is an example of what we love to focus on here, which is those guys coming from nowhere and making it still to that next level, because he absolutely will be playing on Sundays. And I think he is at a minimum going to go day 2, but I hope he goes round 1 next year. But that's my guys. So I'll be checking in next week again to let you know how they're doing. And that's going to be it for me. Thanks again. Like and subscribe, and throw any questions you have down below. Thanks.